Welcome back. My name is Neil Charran, and this is the Gideon Star Chronicler. Wanted to talk a little today about writer's block. I've never had writer's block in the strictest sense, but I've had something strange happened to me. I had a completely free day to myself. I was able to write pretty much for say 6.5 hours, and then my brain just wouldn't. And this was for Gideon Star. This is about 2016, and my brain just would not let me go any further. But I wanted to write. I mean, I was on a ferocious roll. I felt like I could write for 3 days. I felt like I could write, like no need of sleep, nothing. Like it was just that powerful, that passionate. It was going so great. And then there was just this fog that came over me, and it was really strange things for me to tell you, because I was able to write something else in another genre. So I kind of take a break from Gideon Star, which is sci-fiction, sci-fantasy, and work more or less strictly on fantasy, sword and sorcery, action adventure. And I have been kicking around an idea that looks like it'll turn into a novel itself eventually. But it's my go-to when I basically get this like writer's fatigue, where my brain sort of says, that's it, we can't do anymore. In fact, I wrote for a little bit more, and then my brain kind of gave up on that a little bit. And I went, had dinner, and I still free will, separate entity, still wanted to write, and my body would not cooperate. And I to this day can't explain the phenomenon, why. I've been kind of looking into it, but it was just fascinating. My brain just was like, we're done. You've done this enough. It's something I recall akin to studying, where I studied a subject, say physics or something, and studied, and then after time it was time to do something else, except I never had such a strong desire to continue separate from my body's desire to stop, whether it's my brain or my body. I ended up going to the movies. I caught like a late or 9:30ish, 9:45ish Doctor Strange Marvel movie. Loved it, and I was super recharged. I wanted to keep writing my story, and again, I couldn't do it. But I still wanted to write, so I ended up continuing the fantasy story. I did that for about 2 hours until sleep claimed me, and then when I had a full sleep, I had quite long hours. I got up, refreshed, showered. In the shower, showering for me is very meditative. I had a whole bunch of brand new thoughts and feelings for Gideon Star, and went right back into it and did that again for about another 6 hours. And it was, same thing hit me, but at least I was now aware of it. In terms of writer's block, which is the complete inability to write, that is a separate thing. I would say basically take a break. I believe it has something to do with the subconscious and the unconscious trying to kick around your story, and the story related to your conscious mind is now just sort of petered out. So it just needs a little time to reset. In terms of what I've gone through, writer's fatigue again, let's call it, it seems moving. So actually, I forgot to mention that. So when this happened again the second day, I left and I went to Starbucks, and just changing from my home to a different setting. Also, that time it took to go to the Starbucks helped a lot. I was able to write for a few more hours before, there's a point where it's over. There's a point where it no longer works, but, I was able to push through it because, as I can tell you, sort of as a separate entity, I really had the desire to write, and I really was on a roll. I mean, a passionate, beautiful role, like the role that, every writer dreams of, that you can just write and write and write. The ideas are flowing, the language is flowing, dialogue is flowing, and you can just keep going and going and going. And eventually your body's like, nope, we're done. You gotta chill. You're gonna kill yourself, or whatever it is that I'm not self-aware that I'm doing. So there's your will, which is separate. Like I feel like it's something like above here, and your body responds to it. It obeys your commands. It does what you want it, but only to a certain degree. And then after that, it kind of takes over and says, no, 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 no. If you want to do this for the next 50 years, you're going to have to stop now. We just need a few hours, but you're definitely going to have to stop now. So it was very interesting. So my suggestions for that are take a break 100%. So, and actually let's differentiate between the writer's block and the writer's fatigue. I thought it was writer's block. It turns out it wasn't. I was able still to write something. I just wasn't able to write what I actually wanted to write, which is a whole other thing by itself too. But I was able to write something different. I could write a murder mystery. I could write a sword and sorcery story. What did I play around? I played around with a samurai story. I was able to do all these things on this off time when I still wanted to write, when the passion and power was still with me. But my body just, for whatever reason, refused to continue with Gideon's Star. Maybe it was bored by it. I hope that's not an indication of how the novel really is. No, I've actually gotten really good feedback from it. So, but whatever was happening in that moment, it wouldn't allow me to. So one way, in a similar way to tell whether you're hungry, really hungry, or just thirsty is, drink water, have a Gatorade, something. And if you're still feeling hungry, then you're actually hungry. A way to tell if it's just this writer's fatigue versus, say, writer's block, change scenery, try writing something different. Do take a time out. Obviously, for me, a movie worked. Just having that 2-hour space or 2.5-hour space driving, 2 hours plus, including driving and coming back, from the theater, and allowing my brain to just sort of veg out, I guess. Alpha waves to beta waves and these kinds of things, I think helped a lot. Just letting it rest. And then I was able to continue for a little while longer. But then my body / my brain demanded sleep, demanded rest, demanded a recuperation. So get proper sleep. And we're told about that all the time, but as best you can, get proper sleep. Change of scenery, try writing something different, and actually the biggest thing of all, don't freak out. Just don't freak out about it. Let it go, let it flow. Don't feel some kind of way about it. Don't feel it. I don't want to say failure keeps coming out of my tongue. I don't want to say failure, but it's coming out of my tongue, so I'm going to say failure. But don't feel like you failed in somehow, or you're failing yourself, or your will is not as strong as, none of these things are anything. This is for love. This is for passion. This is for fun. This is for an audience that you dream of yet to come, that you hope will see what you see and feel that love, feel that passion, feel that earnestness that you have. That's what this is all about. Nothing else. It's just you. That's it. So just take it easy. Take it easy on yourself. I always say this. Always give yourself a break. But honestly, try these different things to sort of figure out if it's truly writer's block versus this writer's fatigue that I have. Again, the analogy that I have is: are you really thirsty? Or are you really hungry? I hope this helps. Have a great day. Keep writing, and I'll see you in the next video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos to come. I love this. I love building this with you guys.